people are expecting blood, this and that. And I don't think it's going to be that, because Ian Garry is a smart fighter that's willing to just, if he has to dance around for 30 minutes, he's going to dance around. He's willing to do that in order to create the space that he wants, in order to try to land his strikes. Shavkat, not necessarily. Shavkat's going to play the game with you for a little bit, but Shavkat at some point is going to want to get going. So if Ian doesn't want to get going, like we know, Henry, it takes two to tango. So if Ian doesn't want to get going, that fight might not be the bloodbath that everybody's expecting, everybody's craving and going, oh yeah, ooh, ah. But I mean, on paper, I think it's a fantastic fight, and somebody's got to go.
Who you got? Cut to the chase. Somebody's hoes got to go.
Man, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna have to. I might, honestly, putting on my professional hat, I could see a world where Ian Garry gets this one done, but I don't really care much for both guys, so I don't really care. I'm not picking whoever it is. At some point, I'm gonna have to see, and I'm gonna have to do what I do. But I don't really care. But I can't see a world where Ian gets it done. Shavkat is very good and very dangerous, but I can see a world where Ian gets it done.
Funny enough, man, a lot of people not gonna believe me, but I think Ian Garry is gonna win, you know what I mean, by the skin of his teeth, you know. Just like the rest of his wins that he had, you know, whether that's with MVP or with Jeff Neal. He does a good job of staying safe and surviving. And if you don't have the feet to kind of hunt down guys like that, where they're constantly moving and they're constantly evading, and you set up traps, you know, obviously, yet again, you're not going to be able to land those power shots. With Shavkat, you know, he just stands up, you know, he waits on guys too much, and yet again, you know, you have two guys that are willing to fight and get into the fire. If you get in the fire with Shavkat, you're gonna get burned. But I don't see Ian Garry, you know, running into that burning house, so he's gonna try to, you know, flee and invade the whole time, and I can see Ian Garry getting his hand raised by decision.
Rakhmonov with 19 fights, but all of them finishes. We talk about he beat 19 men, but he won every single round. That's the part that gets left out. Nobody has won a round against Rakhmonov, and it makes it overly complex. So now if he hasn't lost a fight and he hasn't lost a round, I've got to break it down smaller and ask you, has there been a sequence? Has there been a combo and or a scenario that made Rakhmonov uncomfortable to where he had an urgency to change the dynamic of the sequence or scenario? Not that I know of. Not that I'm aware of, no. If he has wanted somebody down, he took them there. If he wanted to keep them there, he did. If he wanted to pass, he did. If he wanted to submit, and I'm just wondering it from that perspective, because when I do hear grappler versus striker, and it's a very lazy approach, but you're not going to get away with that in this case, because Ian Garry is not that kind of a striker. If it was a question of who is more likely, due to the power of their punch, to put the other down with one lucky shot, I can imagine that's a 50-50. You can't just tip that on the side of Ian Garry. He's not damaged more people on his feet. He has not hurt more people on his feet. He has not finished more people on his feet. He is not a power puncher.
Well, Connor, let me ask you. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado, Gary Gilbert. Who is winning, bro? Don't dance around it. Who is winning?
Ian Garry.
I like both guys. Not that I'm picking Ian because I don't like. I like both guys. Training both guys. I have a lot of respect.
You like
for
the
both
underdog
guys.
money. You like the plus money.
But if I have to pick one,
right?
Just seeing
you
how
like the
fight,
plus money, man. What do you think?
And seeing how the fight goes, you know, I think if Shavkat taking him down is gonna be hard for Ian. I don't think he'll take him down that easy.
The whole thing is people are counting Ian Garry out. That's the truth.
And
everybody's like, that's
and
it's
I
not
just
gonna
saw
be
a
easy.
post, you know.
Ian's, man, there's too much dog in Rakhmonov, dude. Even though I feel like with a great game plan, Ian could really chop him down and beat him. But man, Rakhmonov's one of those dudes that as you hit him, he becomes stronger. Like he gets greater. Like he's a real zombie, bro. So I gotta go. I like Ian. I wouldn't mind. I would actually like to see Ian win. But if I have to put my money, I'm gonna have to go with Rakhmonov, just based on grit, just based on him fucking 18 finishes, 18 fights, 18 finishes. And they're about the same age. I love this fight because everything's pretty square on, dude. Like everything's pretty even when it comes to age maybe size, and obviously there's a 2-inch reach advantage for Ian, but these guys have trained together, so they know what's up. But just like you, I would not be surprised with a good game plan. Ian Garry also gets it done.
If Ian Machado Garry wins, it's not going to be with this flashy knockout. It's going to be him on his bike outpointing Shavkat, who can't get a hold of him for 25 minutes. It's not going to be this back and forth fisticuff. That ain't happening. The only way he wins is staying on the outside, using his range, using his kicks, circling out, not getting his back to the cage. Once he passes that black line, circling out, you're going to get a lot of running. Running meaning a lot of strategy for him, which I don't mind it for 25 minutes. I'm just telling y'all that if you think that's going to be one of these like crazy knockouts, now anything could happen. Anything could happen where he lands like a knee or something like that and we get a finish. That'd be great. But if I have to bet on it, if Ian Machado Garry wins, it's via decision. It's kind of his only way to win. Unless Shavkat had some glaring mistake and Ian Machado Garry knows that Shavkat shoots in a certain way and hits him with a knee from training because he's familiar with the way he shoots in, or he has some sort of setup that he knows Shavkat struggles with and can get a finish. But outside that, you get 25 minutes if Ian Machado Garry wins of just him kind of outpointing him. Tough to do, and people should respect it. It's mission impossible, but he could do it. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Ian Machado Garry. He's so talented. That's why everyone puts up with his craziness. He's so talented. It's mind-blowing how talented that kid is.
Shavkat Rakhmonov going up against Ian Machado Garry. I've said this before, you got to have a lot of respect for Ian Garry. He didn't have to take this fight, but can he stop the takedown? Seems like all I'm talking about here is takedowns. Shavkat Rakhmonov is very tall for the division, as is Ian Garry. They're both 6'3", and they're both competent strikers. Ian Garry's probably, though, going to dance around the octagon and use the exact same game plan what he did against Jeff Neal. He's got to keep Shavkat Rakhmonov off him, okay? If he can't stop the takedown, he will get finished, and that is no disrespect to Ian Garry. He might be able to dance around, use the reach, use the range, use the movement, be fast, be elusive, be nice and crisp, be light on his toes, and be dedicated enough to not allow himself to get involved into a brawl. If he does that, Shavkat's going to get a hold of him. If he gets a hold of him, he's going to get him down. And if he gets him down, it's going to be lights out.
He's slick. He knows how to put things together well. You watch his striking as well, his distance, his awareness, his in and out footwork. That's where he's going to have an advantage in this fight, is that. And already from the sparring, you can see, for the better and the worse, yeah, I think he's going to be able to touch Shavkat, but he's going to be careful. I don't know how, he's probably gotten better at his jiu-jitsu as well. I don't know, I've seen them grapple. Who knows what's happened when they grappled before. But he's going to be careful. Use that jab, use the teep, keep Shavkat away. And Shavkat, I think just don't bite on the feints if he wants to try and go after Ian. I think Ian's going to have the advantage striking, like touching him up. So Shavkat, if he gets frustrated or find a time, I think the best thing is just try and grab him as early as possible while they're dry. Okay, for me, I like this fight, but I'm going to go with Ian Garry. I'm going Ian. I think it's going to go decision, but if Shavkat wins, I think he's going to either probably submit Ian, but I'm gonna put my money on Ian because I believe, there was something he was saying. I saw like a clip of him at a press conference or something, talking about Shavkat, talking about like, I want to be the guy to take that away. Like, that's the energy, that's that Goku spirit.
But who do I have winning this fight? Shavkat taking on Ian Garry. I'm gonna have to go with Shavkat. The reason why is because I love how Shavkat forces the fight. Somebody who forces the fight is always a hard person to deal with, especially when you do it for 25 minutes. You have to deal with somebody like that. When Ian Garry tends to use his movement and uses the void to his advantage, where Shavkat's like, I want to fight. Where are you going to come here and fight me? Or Shavkat coming across the void, he tends to have his head up, you know, like a Christmas tree. If you guys watch my breakdown, he has his head up like a Christmas tree when he's striking. Ian Garry could catch him, but I like Shavkat's style of forward pressure of trying to get to Ian Garry over Ian Garry trying to run away from him for 25 minutes. And I believe the winner of this is going to go off and fight for the world championship against Belal Muhammad.